Welcome back. The annual RESGEN Men's Summit is taking place February 3rd in Sioux Falls. And in this week's So Many You Should Know, Eric Thorstenson introduces us to the man who created the event, Tom Henderson.
I remember moving when Laura and I obviously got married here locally and then finished college and then moved to Portland, Oregon.
Tom Henderson was working as a youth pastor in Oregon when he wanted to make a change.
After working in youth ministry, working with students all over the country for 12 years in a variety of different capacities, I just felt like I wasn't utilizing my gifts and talents that God gave me to the fullest extent.
The Sioux Falls Roosevelt and later University of Sioux Falls graduate moved back home and started RESGEN.
We're going to be more engaged dads. We're going to be more compassionate neighbors, friends, students, bosses, and community leaders.
And so RESGEN was originally called Restoration Generation. Technically it still is, but it was all about restoring a generation of relationships with God and others.
The pain of Tom's past helped fuel the idea.
And it really came from understanding that the majority of us, students especially, knew nothing but broken relationships in their lives. And that was my story. You know, I grew up in a broken home, home with that didn't have a dad present. He left when I was 9 years old, and then you know, through a variety of different circumstances and bad decisions, he ended up being in prison throughout the entirety of my teen years.
8 years ago, Tom started the RESGEN Men's Summit.
The issue with us, a lot of men, is we always want to be okay. We feel like we have to be okay or need to be okay. We feel like we have to show people the great sides of us and not show them the other sides of us.
Well, the first one we ever did, like I said, was in 2016. We had about 100, just over 100 guys, 123 to be exact. And I always tell people, look, the vast majority of those guys, they knew me or they were friends, and they said, well, Tom's doing it. We don't want it to fail, so we'll just go, right?
It has grown to more than 1,000 now in attendance at the annual Sioux Falls event, which is also simulcast.
This year is about being a man of courage. And what does it look like to live out our lives in a courageous way? You know, being a courageous husband, a courageous father, a courageous in the business world, and then of course courageous in our faith, which is to be the foundation of it all.
Tom brings in speakers from all over the country with a message for men of all ages.
We have guys that are corporate CEOs in the corner office, and we have guys that have just been released from prison and they're trying to put their life back together. We have college students that are age 17, 18, 19 years old trying to figure out what their life's to be about. And we have 82-year-old dudes who are coming because they don't want to stop growing.
And the married father of two saw the ultimate restoration in his life.
After my dad was released from prison, flew down to California, met with him, told him how much that he'd hurt me, how I wish he would have been there, but that I forgave him. And if he wanted to, we could begin a relationship again. And so for the last 30 years, we've been building a relationship.
In Sioux Falls, Eric Thorstenson, Dakota News Now.
The RESGEN Men's Summit is taking place from 8 a.m. to 1:30 on Saturday, February 3rd at Central Church. Tickets are still available for both in person or on a live stream. Tom also does weekly podcasts and speaks to businesses. As always, if there's something you think we should all know, please email a nomination to news@dakotanewsnow.com.